However, I thought the trauma and the fact that I was there last time made her have some negative feelings about telling me, so I put it behind me. I called a few of her new friends when she was 7 months old to arrange a baby shower for her, as she had over the years shared exactly what she had envisioned for it. A number of them replied and said she didn't want a baby shower and that people were going to drop off gifts at her place on a Thursday evening. I phoned her and asked if she really didn't want a baby shower, and she confirmed as much. She told me to just drop off the gifts. And then she asked me if I was still good for paying for the crib and accessories for it, as we had agreed upon for her first pregnancy. I said yes. Thursday I dropped off the crib and other stuff, but her mother answered, telling me not to contact her before next week as she wasn't going to be in. I found it odd, as at this point she is in her 8th month and should be resting. Then some friends texted me what I was doing Friday evening, and some of them I hadn't been in touch with for a while. On a hunch, I went to her place on Friday evening under the guise of giving her a small gift I had forgotten to give her. Her front door was decorated and there was music playing at her house. I had to bang on the door before someone finally came and opened it. It was her mother again, and she looked bothered by my presence. She asked me what I was doing there and told me my friend was out. I pushed past her and found her sitting in her living room surrounded by her new friend groups and some of our mutual friends too. I turned to her mother, who had followed me, and said she was here, to which she replied, "Oh, she must have just popped back in. Like what the F?" So I left. Yesterday I went by her house and she allowed me in and tried to explain that the baby shower was not really my scene and she tried to spare me from coming to it. And that it was all for my own good. I didn't buy it and kept pushing her, and in the end, she confessed that her new friends weren't very fond of me and they didn't want me to be there. I told her to F off and that I hoped when she lose another baby, her new friends clean up after her and her dead baby. Then I packed the crib and other stuff into my car and drove off. She has been texting me about it since. A few of our mutual friends who were present at the baby shower have phoned me too, but I didn't answer their calls because I felt betrayed. I contacted 2 of the mutual friends who were invited and had a long talk with them, as they left voice and chat messages for me wanting to talk. I felt used, and these 2 mutual friends confirmed as much. The reason the mutual friends had contacted me wondering about my plans was for me to catch on that something was happening without directly telling me, because then they would have to break their word to her. Her new group of friends held it against me that she had cancelled plans to go out with them at the last minute to hang out with me when their friendship was new. After the first few times, she always chose them over me as they had more in common. They also seem to be rather immature according to our mutual friends, but they hang out with them as they are okay to be around if you want to have a good time. She is more of a party girl than me, and our mutual friends said she wanted me to stick around so she could call in favors. She had confessed as much to them, calling me the reliable homely aunt for her soon-to-be-born baby. She even said that once the baby was older she could leave this or other babies with me while she would have more time to travel, have her time, and enjoy date nights. Not wanting to believe them blindly, I phoned her, but she was more concerned about the crib and other gifts than wanting to mutually apologize for her behavior. She said she was hurt and would only forgive me if I agreed to babysit for her once she was able to have fun. I asked her why she wouldn't rely on her new group for that since she clearly preferred them. She said silly, they are not the reliable motherly types. She told me if I didn't agree then she would be very cross with me. That ticked me off as it felt like she was scolding me like a child. I hung up. She has since left me a few messages wondering when I will come back with the crib, but I blocked her last night. Crib and some clothes have already been given away, and I donated other newborn stuff to the hospital as there are probably new mothers who would appreciate the help. I found my husband and his ex-wife consoling each other in our bed because they were grieving their daughter's death, so I gave them another reason to mourn. Plus one update. My stepdaughter Becca died 4 weeks ago. I've been in her life since she was 7. We were extremely close. My husband Derek, his ex-wife Sam, and I get along very well. There has never been an issue in the 7 years that I've been with Derek. Sam has always been kind to me. She didn't even care that Becca called me mom too. Right after Becca's passing, Sam had so much anxiety and depression that she was unable to be by herself, so we invited her to stay with us. Sam hardly leaves the house. She mostly just sleeps in Becca's room, which is entirely understandable. I always tell her that I'm here if she needs me, that I want her to take her time with grieving, and that there is no pressure to go back to her home. Today, I needed to run some errands, so I asked Sam if she'd like to join me in getting out of the house a little bit, but she declined and said she'd rather just stay at the house and sleep. I told Derek that I was leaving and would be back in 2 hours. I also told him to check on Sam occasionally and maybe try getting her to eat something. After stopping at the post office, I realized I had forgotten the library book I needed to return, so I returned home to get it. As soon as I entered the door, I heard moaning from Maya in Derek's bedroom. I immediately knew what was happening. And my heart completely broke. I wasn't entirely sure what to do, but I decided to confront them, so I walked to the bedroom, opened the door, and began yelling at them both. Sam started having an anxiety attack and ran to the bathroom while Derek kept apologizing profusely. I asked him what the hell was happening, and he told me that he made himself and Sam some lunch, and they began talking about Becca and shared some memories. Then Sam ended up kissing him, but he didn't pull back, and we ended up with them in our bed. They're begging me to understand that it was just grief that caused them to become intimate and that they both made a mistake. I don't know what to do. I love this man, and I love Sam. I'm heartbroken that they did this to me and put me in this position. I feel so stuck. Update. I decided that I'm filing for a divorce. I can't ever trust him again. It sucks because we had a fantastic relationship, he's always been great, so this was a complete shock to me. Last night, Derek came over to talk. He confessed to a lot. Turns out it wasn't their first time having sex. They've been having sex since 3 months before Becca died. He told me they just accidentally reconnected one night while I was at my mom's. He was stressed we weren't conceiving and were having miscarriages, so he vented to Sam, and then somehow that led to sex. Disgusting of them both, I know. I am completely shocked and heartbroken. Sam also reached out last night, thanked me for everything I've done for her, and told me she was sorry. I didn't respond. I blocked her. I did so much for Sam and considered her a friend, so this hurts more than I can handle. As hard as this is going to be, I need to leave Derek and cut them both out of my life. I am ready to do so. I am done. I told a few friends and some family members. Most of them support my decision and don't speak to Derek. Currently, he's staying at a hotel. Our friends refuse to let him stay with them. He's lost a lot of people due to his awful decisions. He begged me not to file for divorce, but when I told him I needed him just to let me go and that I was too exhausted to fight him on this, he let it be and agreed to get a divorce. He told me he didn't want to continue to hurt me, so he would not stay with Sam, so he told Sam he was done with her for good, and that they have no reason to speak to each other anymore. I have no idea if that'll last and if they'll just end up together, but I genuinely don't care what they do anymore. I just want peace.